but and eventually it'll be engineered for other use cases, but initially it's all flat pack. And but the whole point is the machines, the CNCs at our hometown cabinet shops and mill workshops, they're almost never running more than 2 hours a day.
That's correct.
And so
I've got a client in Central North Carolina that's a mill workshop. We should talk offline because it might be that some of their capacity makes sense for you to activate, but probably early January is a good time for that conversation for other reasons. Wow, what a cool idea!
Thanks. I mean, it's ultimately, you know, spending $9 billion on logistics is just, it's sinful. It's not value adding to anyone.
All right, so if you guys haven't noticed, we are live on Facebook now. So we're gonna stop for a moment, and I don't know how that happened. Can we boot that, George?
Is that Dominic?
Fireflies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that got here. That's been eliminated a long time ago.
Or you thought so.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyhow,
Hey, Dominic, you are muted.
fantastic. How did that happen?
My bad, sorry.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's 9 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started with the meeting. So if you give me just a couple of seconds to start my screen share, and we'll get going. All right. Well, welcome to the RTP chapter of 1 Million Cups, everybody. I will let you know right at the beginning, this is going to be our last gathering of the year. We're going to be taking off next week and the following week for the holidays, and then we are going to resume meetings after the new year. So you'll be getting emails to that regard, but I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off as we gather for 2021. And, you know, at the end of this meeting, we'll give everybody an opportunity to say adios to 2020. What is 1 Million Cups? 1 Million Cups is a free national program. It's designed to educate, engage, and connect entrepreneurs. There are over 160 1 Million Cups communities across the country, and we are a supportive, neutral, and industry agnostic space that is not a pitch environment. The idea being that we are a local ecosystem building organization powered by the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation is a $4 billion endowment for the promotion of economic development through entrepreneurship. The format is that we have 1 to 2 startups give 6-minute presentations, followed by 20 minutes of question and answer from the audience. In the virtual format, we do it a little bit differently. We separate our attendees into breakout groups to address the specific asks of our presenter. And then when we come back with ideas about what we as a community can do to help our presenter. We love our community to get involved, and there's several ways that you can do that. The first way you can do that is you can become an organizer, which means that you help connect and build our startup community by becoming a member of the organizing team. If you're interested in becoming a member of the organizing team, you can get in touch with me, George, Terry, or any of our other organizers who are on the call today. I do want to say thank you to Frank Pollock for volunteering to be part of the organizing team, and we are in the process of onboarding him as a new organizer. So we're looking forward to working with him in 2021 as part of the team. You can also apply to present. So if you have a company that would benefit from presenting at our chapter of 1 Million Cups, please submit your application at www.1millioncups.com/RTP. You can refer a presenter. So if you don't have a company, but you know someone who does that would benefit from presenting at 1 Million Cups, please let them know we're here, invite them to a meeting. and let them see for themselves what we have to offer and if it makes sense for them to be a presenter at 1 Million Cups. And then last but not least, you can attend like you're doing today and give excellent feedback for our presenters. I want to thank our community organizers. We have Tracy Ames, myself, Rosalinda Cruz, Terry Conlon and George Stewart are coaches. Krista Johnson Sotomayor is a past lead organizer and ambassador for 1 Million Cups. And then we have Dan Hepworth. We also have our community sponsors that I want to thank: Muddy Dog Roasting Company, the Global Training Initiative at NC State, NC IDEA, American Underground, the Imperative Product Operations Team, the Massapequa Tutor, Soto IP, and New York Life. So today I'm happy to have fierce female founders, and Cindy Foy-Uhlir is going to be here talking about her startup accelerator and how it is unique in our area and how she helps women who are entrepreneurs and founding companies get to the space that they need to be. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Cindy, if you're ready to go ahead and pull up your slide deck and ready to hear from you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Cindy.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I think a lot of you know me since I've been a part of the community for a couple of years. Fierce Female Founders is a female accelerator, entrepreneurial accelerator that was founded about maybe about a year and a half ago. And we basically work with females to help them build their business or expand their business. So here are, the three things that we need from the community. We need introduction to platform partners and mentors. When I say platform partners, I'm talking about other people. We like to provide vetted services to our entrepreneurs so that they're not spending time looking for lawyers and accountants and web designers and those kind of things. So we actually put together a marketplace that allows them to go in and see who's there and what they might be able to use them for. Membership model experience, anybody that's got any experience in membership models, we are in the process of going from a physical location to a membership virtual location. So it's any go-to-market strategies, and of course to be able to keep interest, and any exposure to any local media, female entrepreneur venues that you know that we might be able to speak or let them know that we're around. So the problem we solve, we take the suck out of being a female entrepreneur is mainly what it is. Lots of women tend to feel less optimistic than men about their business. We tend to actually not be as sometimes forceful or as I don't think it's confidence, but I think it's sometimes we just don't want to push that edge. And 55% of women second guess their decision to start a business. And obviously women start businesses with less capital than men. That's a very obvious thing, but it's a huge market. And this is the one thing I never quite understood as I kind of looked at the ecosystem and started to figure out that this gap was there. It's a huge market. And it's amazing to me how much money is being left on the table by the fact that people don't go after this market, especially in even the venture capital realm. It's still less than 3% of venture capital go to females. So that's just, don't get me started on that one. So the market is huge. And there's not a lot of service in that market. So if you take the potential market capture that you have there, if you took a half of 1% of the existing businesses, it's about 3.2 million a year. And if you had about half of 1% of the new market, you would have a total of 1.5 million a year. And so that is the real piece that I go after is the new market. I go after existing markets in some cases, but what I'm really looking at is the new market. My goal is to get as many women in businesses as possible. So what is our solution? We provide social capital. One of the things that is always, when you talk to female entrepreneurs a lot, they always are looking at the situation where they don't have people to talk to that look like them, so to speak. And so they want to be with other females to find out, am I the only person having this problem? And how did you possibly solve that problem? And then the lean startup methodology, and I love this. I found this yesterday, and it's like the Santa Claus lean startup canvas, which I love, is what we use as far as a process for them to follow to get their product to market. And then, of course, funding and coaching for funding is one of the things we also provide. We have a network of investors that we work with, and we make sure that if they're going in front of an investor, that they're ready. So how do we do this? Well, we have a 3-tier, going forward, we have a 3-tier approach. We have an interested model, which is basically just kind of you're hanging out. We have an actively seeking model, which is more or less on group coaching. We have a well on their way model, which is about more individual coaching. And then we have a CEO mastermind, which is for female CEOs that want to get together and understand from each other and grow from each other. And they are looking to really grow their businesses. So what's some of the results? This is my best story, I think. About this time last year, I had a lady walk into, at that point, we were in a physical location in the Cary Town Center Mall. And we had a little office in the back. And so she walks in with her sewing machine. I didn't know who she was because my business partner at the time had bought her in. And so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden this woman walks in with a sewing machine, and she sits down. And she says, "Hi, I'm Sarah." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks." But Sarah had 3 ideas. One was a bra insert to keep your bras from getting all sweaty. The second was a protective apparel for anyone using a Kevlar vest. And the third was, and I don't even remember what it was. But anyway.
Hey, Cindy, we're at 6 minutes. Could you wrap up, please?
Yes. So bottom line is that she ended up with $250,000 worth of funding. She is right now getting ready to release the prototype and is our success story. So I just put that up.
Hey, thank you very much, Cindy. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Can you drop that off for a moment? I'm going to share something while George is getting going for the breakout rooms. So shoot. So as I said earlier, we're doing breakout groups for the Q&A, and we want to keep in mind what Cindy's asks were, what she's asking for the community. So each room will get one of the topics. The 3 were, if you don't recall, introductions to platform partners and mentors, membership model experience with go-to-market strategies, keeping interest. And the last one was exposure to local media and women with entrepreneurial ventures. So there'll be 4 to 5 people in each room. You'll be discussing each of the topics. And then when we come back, you'll have a spokesperson from each room introducing the question that you've come up with. Please name that person while you're in the breakout room. And then we'll go into a plenary round robin session when we return to the main meeting room. After that, we'll have community announcements and then a virtual chat around the coffee pot where it'll be open forum Q&A with Cindy and further discussion. So George, are we ready to go with the breakouts?
Yeah, we certainly are. So
Excellent.
as Dominic said, we're going to do 4 breakout rooms. Breakout room number 1 will be introductions to partners and mentors. Number 2 will be go-to-market and keeping interest. Number 3 will be introductions to local media and female entrepreneurial groups. And number 4 will be the open ideas, other recommendations that may not be part of one of the asks, but something you feel is really important. If I put you in a group where you feel you don't belong and you can contribute some better somewhere else, if you have the breakout rooms button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, by all means, feel free to switch groups. And as I said, in 5 minutes, we'll be back. So good luck, and we'll talk soon. Hey, Cindy,
Hey.
we're going to keep you here
Okay. I didn't
to
figure I
entertain
was
the
going
folks
to
on
break.
Facebook. So now you can tell a joke or do a magic trick.
Yeah, right. You didn't tell me that part.
So seriously, if you're on Facebook and you do have a question or a suggestion for Fierce Female Founders, by all means, type it in and we will cover the Facebook questions as well.
And if you're on
So Cindy,
Facebook and you don't like and you haven't liked Fierce Female Founders Facebook page, please go do that.
That is a great idea. That's a great idea. So it's good to finally get you to come and present. I guess you've been on the list for, it feels like months.
Yeah, well, it was a couple of things. I mean, before my son decided to move, and that kind of took me out of the picture for a little bit, and then I think it was just then scheduling again. So it's good to do. I did Wilmington about 4 weeks ago, and it went real well. And I have applied for Atlanta and Charleston, so we'll see what happens after the first of the year.
I'm just curious, how many people were at the Wilmington meeting?
There was probably about 15. The morning I presented, they were having some kind of political meeting, city council meeting or something that I think took a lot of people away. But
well, it's good to see that they got at least that many. You may know they were kind of a break off from RTP.
Right. So that Jim's people didn't have to keep traveling to
drive all the way to RTP
Raleigh to present
in person.
Yeah, I mean, for that area, I've been down there. Actually went to the meeting a couple of times. And because I go when Jim has his event, I normally go down for that, and I spend the night and go to meeting cups the next morning. And it's a pretty significant group, actually.
Oh, that's good.
So, and then Jim packs a room. Jim always has over 100 people in that thing on Tuesday night. So you should be an entertainer.
Yeah. So we have coming up most likely Mark Masters. So he's on the application list, and Mark's based in California, but he's applied to present here. He's actually a professional comedian. And so I am looking forward to his presentation. I think that's going to be good in the new year. I suspect it might be different from some of the other presentations we've had.
I suspect it might be.
So we've got about a minute left until everybody comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mark is presenting at various million cups all over the country, but he's trying to develop his comedy business, which has got to be a challenge in this kind of environment.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we're probably, I'm guessing, we're probably a year or more away before we can pack a comedy club again.
Yeah, for at least 6 to 8 months.
I think it's going to be longer than that before we can. I think 6 to 8 months we'll be able to get together with friends, but I don't think we're going to be packing bars and clubs. At least from what I've seen about reluctance and concerns about vaccinations.
Yeah, you just have to get a critical mass. If you get enough of a critical mass, you can make it into a flu bug.
So fingers crossed, hopefully it won't be too long, but I think that'll be one of the last things that happens is packing a club or a concert.
Yeah, yeah. Or a sporting event.
Yep. And I think everybody's coming back.
Okay, cool.
27 seconds, it says.
Okay.
They're on their way back. They're given they've been given their countdown. I meant to ask you, you've been in a few of these breakout rooms. Are the people who are normally quiet, are they speaking up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because that was the whole point, is to get more voices instead of hearing from the same 4 people every day.
Right.
Hey, Cindy.
And it looks like they're all back. Hey, Ricardo.
Good to see you. Hey, Joy. We're getting back. We were in the middle of it, but we got back.
Good. All right, so everybody's back. Welcome back. We're going to go around the rooms, hopefully twice. So let's start with room number 1, which was the introduction to partners and mentors. So that was Dwight, Jacques, Josh, and others. What did you guys come up with?
I think I was I spoke first on this, so I got told that I was the leader of the group here, so I'll speak. So in a group of, I think it was 6 guys talking about what fierce female founders can do. I'll preface it with that. So Jacques had an interesting suggestion about reaching out to CED here and just seeing if there are, Cindy, you have a very kind of clear lane that you're in. So it doesn't seem like it would be kind of a direct competition, and it might be just kind of a worthwhile way to I'm sorry, it wasn't Dwight. It was or wasn't Jacques. I think it was it Dwight? Someone mentioned that, but so that might be a worthwhile way to go in.
Okay.
Jacques had mentioned off the top of his mind that he had a patent attorney that could be an interesting person to add to your cadre there. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe just reach out to him. And McKinley's thought was, as a retired school teacher and a father of a single father of a daughter who coached sports teams, he kind of had, I think, a unique insight. So that might be a good connection for you guys just to talk about. But his suggestion was to become, really active in LinkedIn and social, that kind of social media. And the thought was, like, he seemed to think from his, and McKinley, if I'm phrasing this wrong, jump in here, but he seemed to think that the kind of crux of it was encouragement, kind of getting women to jump over that edge. And maybe by reaching out in those communities, seeing what other folks are doing, it's kind of like, I think you phrased it, Cindy, seeing people who look look like us can kind of help us over that. So that was the last thing, and or sorry, McKinley's, and I guess the I mean, just thinking of my own kind of Rolodex, there's certainly a bunch of introductions that I can think to make, but I kind of wanted some more clarification, or I think we wanted some more clarification on kind of like, are you just only looking for women to sort of partner in that, or also like what are there particular like services or verticals or those things that you're targeting in? So like maybe a little more guidance. I could speak for myself, could help me sort of say, hey, reach out, this person would be good to reach out to. So those were the in a nutshell what we discussed.
Okay. Do you want me to address that more
If-
needs thing right
If
now?
you want.
Okay, so no, we are not just looking for female mentors. We need that variety in it as well. So we're looking for, as a matter of fact, Jim Roberts is one of the coaches and helps out tremendously because he knows everybody in the world. But so that's key. And it's going to be different things that different people need, right? It's like if I'm in a technology company and I'm at this space, then I need to talk to somebody that's been in this space before. And at that point, it doesn't matter really whether I've got the support system that's supporting me, but now I need some specific information. Or how did you overcome this? So those in that aspect, we're looking for males, females, Indian chiefs, whatever, that can help, that have that experience. Now, they may not be a full-time mentor. They may come in and answer that question, or they may be somebody that we refer them to and say, hey, can you help them out for a minute? So that's really what we're wanting to provide, is the ability to have that so that they don't have to go looking for it and spend a lot of inordinate time, which they will, which we all will, to find out, who's that best person to talk to. And they may not be the best person to talk to. Does that help?
Cindy, do you know Wendy Coulter of Hummingbird?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's one that I would have recommended. We ran out of time and I didn't have a chance to say anything in our group. But I know several other women that I'd be glad to introduce you to, and I'll put my contact information in the chat so you can reach out. And, one of mine is a business associate and helps with somebody who's a startup just getting bookkeeping and accounting straightened out.
Right. Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Ted. Let's move to group 2 and the go-to-market and keeping interest group. So this is Joe, Ray, Cary, and others.
Yeah, I think Tino said he'd be spokesperson.
Tino, if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
Yeah, my takeaways from the conversation were more introductions, and we didn't. I don't recall too many go-to-market ideas. It's we had. Yeah, so we suggested a couple of organizations and people to introduce Cindy to, is what I recall. Wayne and did I miss it? Wayne's muted.
Yeah. To follow up on what Ted said, Ted and I are members of North Carolina Executive Roundtable. Cindy, whenever we start resuming meetings and everything, I would really encourage you to hit Ted or me up and go to one of those meetings, because we've got a lot of women in that group, a lot of successful, very confident women in that group, Wendy Coulter being a perfect example.
Yeah.
And there would be some good connections there for you in that space. And my other concern was your logo is F3. There's another F3 organization. I don't know if it's local or whatever, but they've got a bumper sticker. It's a fitness group, fitness, faith, and fellowship. They meet in the mornings and work out. I'm worried about a conflict differentiation between your F3 and their F3.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let's go to group 3, which is Brett, Carol, Elizabeth, and some others.
Hi, I got nominated. So we kind of talked. Denny suggested that she should talk to like local podcasts and maybe like speak on local podcasts
Right.
as a way of getting words out like locally. And also there were suggestions about connecting with already bigger and established companies with women like in leadership and kind of networking with them, so it can give them like a better position, so like introductions, networking, so they can like all get to know the market better and also like introduce their companies and just get the word out better.
Mhm.
So I think it was Brett, he suggested something, I forgot what it was specifically, but if you'd like to
I can
speak,
only
you can
imagine.
expand on that.
I suggested going directly to some of the stations, reaching
Right.
out to their people. Brian Mims at WRAL, and you can really just start with the assignment desk, but some of the reporters you can reach directly. Brian Mims at WRAL comes to mind. The producers at Spectrum, because in Spectrum is going to give you a statewide reach, which kind of raises the awareness a little bit better. And the TV people are still looking, they're looking for a lot of stories, especially now, election season's over. So they have still, their time doesn't change. They still have a lot of time to fill. So, and they're trying to do more stories that are proactive.
Okay, great.
All right, thanks, guys. Let's move to group 4. So this is Dominic, Michael, Ricardo, and a couple of others.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy, we love you. You know that.
I know you love me.
Hey, we were, one of the things we came up is, how would you come up with the differentiator between Fierce and the other programs that exist? You know, the normal go-to programs everybody goes, like CED and NC Idea and Launch Plays and all that. And how do you fit there? How do you differentiate yourself from them? Or could you be a capture the guys that are not ready for prime time for their programs? Because, they do go through the selection process. So can you do something with them, for example, to be the catcher to say, I'll get them ready for prime time or investment, or you have your own funds and you take them from one step all the way through? But your clear differentiator, because they might have choices and they say, oh, I'm going to start with Cindy before going there and just go all the way with her. So that's some of that. So what do you think of a differentiator / value proposition that addresses that clearly?
So just a couple of things. One is that those programs are typically short, like they're 12 weeks, 15, 16 weeks, something like that. And then they leave them, more or less. It's like, hey, you were with the group for a while and had a nice time, but da-da-da. So that's where we're actually targeting, is the end of that. Where I'm not trying to compete with CED or
Right.
NC Idea, because that would be stupid because they're free and I'm not. But but it's like they're very much so a feeder to us in terms of, I was with a group of people. I liked being with a group of people. I want to continue to be with a group of people, and I continue to need to support. Although you taught me all these things during those 12 weeks, I may not have been able to implement each and every one of them. So, I work very closely with NC Idea. I just started working closely with CED, to actually help them to understand that we are not here to compete with you. We are here to help you augment those companies that you invested in to make sure that they get to where they're supposed to get to.
Okay. Yeah, we think that's the right way to go. I mean, it's like, say clearly, you're not competing against them, you're supporting them, and you can take the results of the people that go through their programs to take them to the next steps and get stuff done, which is our motto too. So, okay. Okay.
thank
I don't know if
you.
anybody in the group had other questions, but I mean,
Well,
we're
we're
going
gonna-
to go round robin again.
Yeah, we'll go
Okay.
around one more time. So
Gotcha,
let's go
gotcha.
back to group one.
Okay.
So this is Mark Masters, McKinley, Ted, and some others. You guys have anything else to add?
Not really.
Not
You must have
really.
done an excellent job.
All right.
I think what Wayne Rogers said was right on the money with the NCER North Carolina Executive Roundtable. I was literally in 3 meetings with them in the last 2 days. There's a number of very active, very good female entrepreneurs that could be helpful, and I could make a lot of introductions there. I'd be glad to do that for those folks.
I appreciate it. I went to the executive roundtable several years ago, but I haven't been lately.
Yeah, I seem to remember seeing you there, Cindy.
Mhm.
Yeah, neither have we.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know whether, are they having anything virtual or what are they doing?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Plus, we have a number of members-only functions,
okay,
coffee chats and things like that.
okay. I'd appreciate that.
Thank you, Ted.
If you decide you want to join, let me know, Cindy, so I can get the discount, not Ted.
Okay. I love it when men fight over me.
Wayne said he'd pay for your membership.
No matter what it is.
That's right.
All right, let's go back to group two. And this is Terry, Tino, Wayne. Anything else to add, guys? Oh, come on, Wayne, you're shaking your head. I can't believe you don't have something to add. Oh, Ray.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. I'm going to drop this in for you, Cindy.
Okay.
There are two ladies whom I've gotten to know in the Techstars network really well outside of just the southeast. Elizabeth with Merge Lane Capital and Catherine with Clio Capital. I point out Elizabeth particularly because she runs these boot camps for women. They're like these getaway camps for weeks or so.
Right.
She would be a great resource. She'd be happy to connect with somebody and share what she's doing. But also Catherine with Clio Capital is Northeast. I think she's out of New York or Boston area. And these two women have done an exceptional job in getting the awareness out and bringing the community together outside of just about anybody I've ever seen do it. They've done a really well job. So I know that they'll be well connected and give some solid advice rather than 6 men in a room. or two to complement 6 men in a room. How about that?
Good, thanks, Ray. So let's go to group three. So this was Jenny, Kathy, Lynn, and others. Anything else to add?
I would also look into Leadership Raleigh. It's not an obvious look, but there's a lot of corporate folks embedded in that, and many of them also entrepreneurs or they're connected to entrepreneurial enterprises. I just want to not just read. I kind of was more television focused the last time I spoke, but don't overlook the radio stations. Radio is not dead. People still buying radio time, and people still listen to the radio. And the podcast idea, I think, is great because they kind of all go into a media mix. And I've seen it work so many times where people overlook it, but then when they go to radio, they go to television, and along with the social media, it helps drive people to social media.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to piggyback on what Brett said and say not just the formal interviews and things. One of the things that's come out of 2020 is all of these like sidebar interviews that happen on social platforms. So like I see Melissa Turnus has somebody that she interviews every week on her LinkedIn page. Different people who are interviewing in different groups. And I mean, the Women's Entrepreneur Network, Haley Gray, locally, owner of Fiercely Marketing, has a group of 70,000 people that you can go talk in front of. I mean, it's a pay to play, but you can go talk to them. So there's, and it's international, which means that like, you may not be hitting somebody locally, but you're hitting somebody in England who knows somebody in Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like it ends up being this a way to create that sales force, right? So using those social platforms and leveraging that to your advantage.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. And last but not least, group 4. So this is Michael, Dominic, Bob, Mark. Anything to add?
Bob, did you want to add something?
Sure.
I would have been real disappointed had you not come up with something.
right.
I would have been like, I must have really failed.
Okay.
Bob, I
So,
did my part. Come on, you're next.
all right, Cindy, we're probably going to have a sidebar on this, but
Yeah.
just
Okay.
here's a few thoughts that come to mind.
Okay.
You know, the one example you showed as a success story was a woman who showed up physically with a sewing machine, yet you're moving to a digital all format. I think that you are, in effect, you're creating a community, and I think the physical presence is going to resonate greatly. And the model that you left with the physical location and kind of co-working is altering so fast right now. I just spent a 4-month project on this, so it's very top of mind for me. The workplace is changing. Landlords are I'm just going to use this word. A lot of landlords are shitting in their pants right now
Right.
because they've bought buildings over the past number of years. Tenancy and occupancy is way down. They're open to so many different types of arrangements right now. And if you left because you needed to pay rent every month under that arbitrage model, which is out the window now, you could do rev shares similar to like a retail lease. And then you can actually help the landlord activate the asset with this hyper specialized community and draw attention to that property like they would never have. So to me, if you want to take the fierce part and put it to work, that's an excellent way to do it. And then you can potentially also create network effects across multiple buildings all over the country. And I could talk to you about a couple of examples offline,
Okay, cool.
but that was my initial kind of thought.
And believe me, my preference is the physical location. I've had a really hard time, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around the total virtual. I lose a lot. I lose a
Yeah.
lot.
Ask me when we talk, ask me about the Riveter
Okay.
and ask me about Hero Hub.
Okay.
Yeah, and Cindy, I'm going to dump a link in here from Pivot Desk. They've basically created the original model for how property owners could segment and do exactly what Robert was just talking about. They are the original folks that created that model.
Okay, cool.
Oddly enough, guys, I just traded emails with one of the original co-founders of that company this morning, Alex Newman. So I had to mention that just because it was too coincidental.
Robert, what was the second one? You said the Riveter, and who else was
Hera Hub, HERA Hub. That lady's been operating women-focused co-work centers in Southern California for probably over 10 years now.
Yeah.
She's got a very interesting, her name is Felina Hansen. She's got a very interesting kind of outlook on this.
Cool.
Hey, thanks, guys. So this is it for the formal Q&A. Cindy's going to stick around after the meeting ends for a little discussion around the virtual coffee pot. So if you want to pick up something else, go into more detail, or ask another question, hang out after the meeting's over and you can do it then. So Dominic, over to you.
Yeah, so we're going to do the community announcements now. Same as the old format. If you have a community announcement, please let George know via private message. He'll put you in queue. And that could be anything from a new resource that you have, an event that you want to let the community know about that's coming up, deadlines for, pitch competitions, for example, is something that we've heard before, or something new that's going on with your business that you want to share with the community. So I'll go ahead and start with a couple of things. First is my normal every week ask is go back to the top. If you want to be involved as an organizer or as a presenter at 1 Million Cups, please get in touch with myself. George, Terry are the only organizers here today, but we would love to have everybody get a little bit more involved, and we always want to make sure that we have more excellent quality presenters going into 2021. So if you know folks that would benefit from presenting at 1 Million Cups, please share that we're here and share our website so they can apply to present. Second thing is, we're in the midst of the holiday season. As everybody knows, it's no secret, COVID-19 has caused all sorts of havoc in 2020. It's impacted a lot of people economically, and there is a massive amount of food insecurity in the state of North Carolina. The Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina in the first 4 months of the COVID crisis spent $2.3 million on food. In 4 months, that was twice their annual budget on food. So there is a significant need right now, especially as the numbers are going up. There's more food insecurity, and $1 donated to the food bank feeds 5 people. The food bank covers 34 counties in North Carolina, from the coast to the border of Virginia to the border of South Carolina, the entire triangle. And I'm going to pop a link in here where, donate a couple of bucks. It's rainy. You don't need to go to Starbucks today. Drop your $5 on your latte into the food bank and feed 25 people, please. It's a time for giving. Any other people want to make a community announcement, George?
Yep, Brett's got one.
Excellent.
Good morning, all. And nice presentation, Cindy. I got in a little bit late, but it's good to see you doing it.
Thank you.
I'd like to first thank Robert and for showing up at my open mic. I hosted an open mic at the Blue Note Grill on Wednesday night, which will be tonight from 7 until 9. Socially distanced, people wear masks, great food though, good music. And it's really an opportunity for people to get out of the house and go to a safe environment. We have a covered patio and an outdoors in addition to the inside music room. So I just want to encourage people to show up and just get out of the house and be around people in a nice, safe environment. And I'm very strict about it. People laugh at me when I'm spraying down the microphones or whatnot. But I just want to encourage you to come join us. I'm still waiting to see Dominique show up. That's my buddy. So I want to see him. And I also want to give a quick thank you to McKinley and some other folks. My daughter was on the Forbes 30 under 30 selections for sports. And Cindy, one of the things I was talking about, the local TV, Brian Mims did a story on her, which right after 1 Million Cups last week, he interviewed me to put one little really quick few frames of me in the piece. But yeah, I just want to thank the group too, because some of this I think is rubbing off of my daughter when I talk to her, stuff I hear in the meeting. So it has a halo effect outside of this meeting. And sometimes we don't really give that enough credit. That's why we call it a community. So thank you.
Hey, thanks, Brett.
Congratulations, Brett.
Yeah, that's great.
Good job.
I don't see any others in the chat. I have an announcement that I am aware of. So Riot, which is the regional Internet of Things, has an accelerator program for startups, obviously in the Internet of Things sphere, but they have I think it's a 12-week accelerator program starting in the new year. Application deadline is the 21st of this month. And the URL is riot.org. So this is not doing bad things in the streets. This is a regional Internet of Things. So riot.org for that one. And that's it, Dominic.
Excellent. Well, with that being said, thank you very much on behalf of myself, George, Terry, our other organizers for being so involved this year. Thank you for everybody who's been coming to our virtual events and keeping the RTP chapter of 1 Million Cups, one of the most active chapters in the country. Doing weekly meetings, making sure we have presentations, making sure we have great questions and feedback for our presenters. Thank you to all the presenters and our sponsors and everybody who makes this meeting possible each and every week. I think, you know, in spite of everything, we've had a really very successful 2020, and I'm looking forward to things in 2021, and at some point getting back to live in-person 1 Million Cups meetings and being able to see everybody face to face, shake hands, and continue to help entrepreneurs build their dreams. So with that, George, we'll pull us off of Facebook, and we'll do the